Now we're going to do something different, something that we've never done before, speaking of gamification. In the past, one of the comments that we got about this event was that it wasn't interactive enough and that the audience really wanted to interact with each other and with the speakers more. So we've come up with a game format. And to do that, we've asked Ekim Tan and her partner Richard at Play the City from Amsterdam to come up with a game that we could play with as many as 600 people, because that's basically how many people we have registered here. And the game is designed so that we can sort of interact, we can role play, so you all have a role on your name tag. And we're supposed to step into the shoes of someone else in the city. So you might be an investor or a politician or an activist or a designer, and you're supposed to think about how to design the city from that perspective. So first I'm going to ask Ekim and Richard to join me on the stage, and they're going to give the rules and talk about the game a little bit. And we're going to try to, once she plays the film, we're going to try to move very quickly to the back of the room. And then after that, just to remind you, after the game, we have Carl Weisbrod from New York City Planning talking about the New York City plan. So you'll get coffee and come back after the game for Carl. Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Martin. So as Martin said also, actually this is the first time that what you're doing. So you're part of an experiment. We at Play the City are playing games with people, maybe maximum 50 people. We have tried about 100 people, so it will be the first time that we are playing with, I don't know, 600 people, maybe more. So please help with us, help us to make this a success. So let me explain to you what will happen in the coming 85 minutes. So first, I will quickly explain what Play the City does, our work, and then we will run an animation. During the animation, we will ask you to go and find your tables, so the color that is indicated on your tags, and the roles. So once you find the right color map, you will also have to find which role are you playing in that specific city: gray city, pink city, yellow city, red city. And then I will ask my colleague Richard to explain you the game rules. So Play the City, what do we stand for? As an organization, we are believing that games can help make better cities. And what we do basically in reality is working with local governments, with real urban issues, urban questions, and then tailoring our game method into the real question where various stakeholders come together to resolve their issues. So imagine a SimCity being played by real players, being played for resolving a real urban question. So this time we have a fictional European mid-sized city that will be played by you. And the method has been, so the cities in migration game that will come soon. And the method has been implemented across the world, in Cape Town, in Turkey, in Tirana, in Albania, of course in many Dutch cities, and we are happy to be in Prague and testing this. And this is the layout that you will be following. So this is, the color set of the games, game boards. Please go and now stand up and go find your tables while we are running this animation for you about Play the City. Please, every team, every table, choose one representative to come to the stage. In 1 minute, explain what has been happening. What was the vision of your mayor? How are all the other players reacting to it? What are the highlights? What are the demonstrations? Where are the interesting projects? Where are the conflicts? Come and explain us in 1 minute. Your 1 minute started. You can also look back at your table to remember what's been happening.
So, yes, sorry. So we were definitely very satisfied with the design of the city from the position of migrants, because there were only 5 that said no refugees in our city.
5 refugees arrived?
5 people against refugees.
Okay.
So the city is planning to distribute migrants throughout the whole city, not in one territory. So I think it can help it can prevent getting ghettoization in the city.
How many people arrived in your city? How many people arrived? How many newcomers?
I don't know.
You don't know, okay. Normally we don't know, that's
we
okay.
have to be prepared, we won't
That's
react.
just
We
real,
have
you
to
know?
be
You don't know.
really aware of a fact that it can be the reality. And then actually we stress the importance of education and actually social care for refugees. That's why we suggested daily center in the center of the city.
Okay, time is up. We have to be very quick. Anything that you want to really add, what happened in your city?
Yes, transport free of charge for refugees was suggested by our colleagues.
Not charging transport, so they can move around. Okay,
Yes.
nice.
Very interesting.
So
Can
the Sion city is not charging for transport, and they have been decentralizing their newcomers, so they are not in one neighborhood, but they have been distributed all over the town. The next one.
Camera, can we move
Camera,
to the
we
green
follow
city?
you.
The next city.
Yes.
Excellent.
That's the green city.
Green city.
Green city, please come forward. Explain in 1 minute what happened in your city.
May I? So I think they did a great job. Altogether, 37,000 migrants. So it's quite a lot for
What?
300,000 cities. So we'll see how that would work. But they
You're
tried.
happy as a migrant.
Sorry?
You're happy as a migrant.
As a migrant, I'm happy that all my friends and families could arrive with me. They tried to evenly distribute us around the city, so to be diverse, just, and also innovative. What I liked very much is that they used farming to create some jobs and some food for us, but maybe I would appreciate to find more work. They have invested a lot of money into housing, a lot of money into education, so that's good. There were quite a lot of riots in the city, but not against the migrants, so that's
Against
positive.
what? Against what were the demonstrations?
I think for improve school system and other
Services.
things.
Okay.
Services,
Okay.
yeah.
So did I hear you right that you're happy to come to a European city to farm? You said that?
Very much.
Okay. All right. So the green city.
Applause for the green city.
Green city will become farmer in a European city, and they're totally happy. The next city, the yellow city. We are curious what happened in your town.
So thank you. I'm from the Yellow City, and from the perspective of migrant, I can say that the city seems really welcoming. Just when you look at the very top, as Major said on the very first beginning, the city is innovative, diverse, and sexy, so it must be cool. It's clear. And what I really like, there are short-term solutions and also long-term solutions. I appreciate especially that there are some capacity in camps and also in stadium. And there are many programs for food donation and news for refugees and things like that. And from the long-term programs, I would mention definitely big investigation in education and in job market. And I think that's really cool. But we think also that so no minuses.
One last thing you really want to add? Anything you want to really add?
Yeah, maybe I think that it's not really good to make some great investigation in the stadium where 10,000 of migrants should live, because I think it's not really long term.
This is what happened to you. They put all 10,000 of you in the stadium.
Yeah, they wanted better shelter in the stadium.
Okay.
I think it's good for not temporary. Right now it could be good, but we should look more in the future. So it would be better to invest, for example, in densifying the city blocks or something like that.
For longer term solutions.
Yeah.
You're fine for now, but not for the future. Okay, the next yellow city. You're happy migrants. Did I hear you right? You're happy with the situation. Okay, I hear education coming back in many cities. innovative. Again, also yellow city. In the next city, that's the brown city. Did migrants of the brown city arrive? Okay. Come forward.
Can I stand here?
Of course.
So we are the brown city, and well, the government and the leadership and the economy were supporting the migrants, us, when we were moving in, and we saw that very happily, and we had a lot of places to live in. But the problem was that the city and the people and the news, they weren't happy with us. They weren't happy that all the money in the city were invested into the housing. And the issue is, of course, they gave us no opportunity to join into the city. We had no job opportunities, and well, we couldn't integrate into the city. We were kind of segregated, and in that way, also in the corner, the vacant place, they built a new housing, and well, we were segregated.
Okay, so you felt isolated as migrants. You were just at the edge of the city, but you could not really enter, become part of the job market.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, they gave us education, healthcare, but I mean, the people, the citizens weren't satisfied. They were complaining.
That it was not enough because of your arrival.
Yeah, that the city was interested only in us and not in the citizens in the end.
Okay, that can also happen. So unhappy citizens, unhappy migrants, is that it? Brown city.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
So you as a migrant felt you isolated, citizens felt that they were actually being prioritized over the newcomers. So unhappy citizens, unhappy migrants, is that the situation?
Yeah, I mean yeah, we could be happy, but I mean, when you think about it, we were not joined with the citizens.
Okay, if you could actually meet the citizens and maybe
maybe
learn
after
from each
after
other,
discussion, and
could they have been happy? Okay, the mayors of Brown City, I think they're hearing you.
Applause for the brown city.
Next city, that's the pink city, I guess. Pink city. That's okay. I'm curious about what happened to the migrants.
Okay. Our city worked with the idea that we have 100,000 city. They decided to take 5,000 migrants, and they worked very well together. They spread us around the city. They wanted to hear our voice with the development. But I think the problem might be, there was no big confrontation during the whole process. I think there might be a big problem with the fact that if the city is so good, there will be more of us coming. So I think that's the main problem. So that's what
too good.
Yeah, it's basically it's too good that for only 5,000 migrants. So that's our
So
idea.
what could they
We
be the
wrote
solution?
more of us are coming. More of us are coming. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's the
you
idea.
will call your friends to come in more.
Definitely.
Okay. So Pink City looking for newcomers. The next town. Oh, that was quick. Okay. So are we coming to the Purple City? Curious what your story is.
So Purple City, the migrants were so happy they have sent the designer to represent them. And we have gathered, I don't remember, around 15,000 migrants. And the main focus was on development of houseboats on the beach, which the migrants were very happy with. And new development, free parts of the city. Then we are changing the vacant offices into housing. And also the workers' accommodations was changed into migrant space. What was important was to spread the migrants all around the city. There was great collaboration between the developers and the policymakers and the rest of the city in general. And also we had amazing media coverage, which was presenting all the interesting, innovative projects which happen within the city. So it's one happy, amazing city.
Wow. So there were no demonstrations that were angry anywhere in town? Pardon, I have a mic.
There were only demonstrations in the farmlands because there are too many immigrants based in the farmlands. But yeah,
Okay.
it's just the detail.
Oh, okay. So I understand why they sent their designers. So you've been creative and migrants were trusting you enough to send and represent themselves. Okay, designers, you can do that.
All right, the next one is the Blue City. Do we have the migrants from the Blue City? Yep. Have a microphone
Richard
here,
will help you
actually.
now.
So briefly, I'm the mayor of the Blue team, and we focus on the reusing of vacant spaces in the city center and densifying it for migrants to be more integrated or connected with the locals. With developer, we discuss the financing of it, and I think from my point of view as a mayor, I think it was great collaboration, so the point of view.
So hello, I'm a migrant, and I'd like to tell you first one with that problem because it wasn't cooperation together. We were out of the process all the time, and in the end, we were just we can go inside the town, and they show us everything. So it's the problem, but I can tell that they made it pretty well because they invite us to the center of the city. They spread us around all the area, but the main number of us is in the center of the city, and they told us that we are part of the business, and they made some program for us to make business together with them, and we are very happy for this. Thank you.
Great. Sounds pretty top down. Correct? Quite top down. There was not a whole lot of participation from your involvement in making it happen, but you were still quite happy. All right. Moving on to the Red City. There you are. We have the two migrants.
I'm mayor. I've become a mayor out from the migrants immediately on the first day.
Okay.
And we have a migrant then.
All right.
So if I can start. We found ourselves definitely in a shock of so many migrants because there was more than 70,000, maybe 80,000 of 300,000 city. What was interesting, and we really had to kind of start to fight and find ourselves oriented, is really intense pressure from developers and their intentions were not really clear to us. So we really had to find on that side, while we had to remove our attention towards especially that city or the part of the old offices where 50,000 migrants appeared. So it was really incredible, huge number of people that really were fighting against, and it was really kind of chaotic situation, so I'm not really sure that we as a city really dealt with it ideally, but it was will that to cooperate. And migrants will say...
No words for migrants left?
One sentence?
There was no word for migrants or the discussions, so that's why also we tried to redesign a little bit the city, because the neighborhood sites worked really well, but then the melting pot in the vacant office spaces was really like a hot spot of all the discussions, and we just didn't want to leave the space. We just wanted to bring there more the middle term and long term solutions, not just the temporary solutions which were designed on the beginning. So we just wanted to make from this quarter of the city, not just the quarter of the vacant office spaces and ghetto refugees into it. So that's it.
And happy migrants, or?
There is the second round of the game, so then we will do.
Not entirely happy, but room for improvement. All right, great. Applause for the Red City. And then we move to the Violet City. You're representing the migrants?
Yeah, hello.
Yes?
I was urban activist, but then our migrant had to take care of her baby, so I was tricked to become a migrant.
Sounds real.
So now I will tell you story of our city. Our mayor has an idea that our city will be rich and friendly. So they invited a lot of migrants, 27,000 of migrants. But the problem was that the migrants end up in poor areas of the city, in the workers' area, and in the social housing, and in the shelter camp in farmland. And in this area, the situation wasn't very good for migrants. So there were demonstrations because people didn't feel safe at these areas. So a lot of work at the part of NGOs and media help us with the
Final
situation.
Words?
So there were
sentence.
some projects we really liked. And we hope that the situation will improve. The worst problem was housing and safety.
All right. So sounds like there was some collaboration between the activists and the migrants as well. You representing kind of the story of the city with the activists and the migrants working together.
Yes, because I want to stress that the activists and NGOs and media really helped with the situation of the migrants.
Okay, good news. Excellent. All right, the Grey City. There you go.
So we were quite happy. 65,000 migrants and in a rich city. And you can see that they tried to allocate us in the middle of the city, there in the axis. We're quite happy with that. But then they put 10,000 of us in the social housing, very close to slums. So let's say people weren't getting too happy with that. But we did get some investments, and we eventually went to the empty offices, which was quite nice. And then we got some training and some other creative jobs. So they thought about that, so we were also very happy. And at the end, we talked about getting that empty plot and actually developing it so we can get some money and put into the social housing and the slums, so we could actually think about the city as a whole, not just the migrants. So I think we have.
So when you say we get some money as migrants, you get some money?
Oh, we're not just the migrants, but the migrants and the citizens that lives in the slums. So we developed that empty plot over there.
Okay, we meaning, who are you? Who's developing that empty?
Who's developing? So we as migrants, we were, suggesting that to get all the city together, better quality.
Are you planning to stay? You're happy enough to stay?
Definitely, we're super happy. Everyone was super involved in negotiating price and everything. It was
Great.
nice.
Cool.
Sounds easy.
Applause for the Grey City. And we have two more, I think. This is turquoise. There you go.
So, I am a mayor from the turquoise city.
And where is your migrant?
We had a little bit of a problem because we had a lot of immigrant flux at once, so it was really dramatic process. It was also a little bit messy. But what we tried to kind of reach was a big diversity and innovation in the city. So basically, we also placed a lot of immigrants quite in the center. There are some people, a lot of people in the museum district. So we hope that the migrants could learn about our culture working in the museums, maybe providing some tours. But also a very nice thing was that we provided mobile kitchen and food districts where also the locals with migrants would work together. And as well, there was big emphasis on the sports. So basically, a lot of activities like cultural activities, food, and the sports become like a source of bringing people together.
And what happened to your migrants?
Well, there is a lot of heart, so he
They didn't want to come to the stage.
No, they are still not well integrated, let's say. They're a bit shy.
Okay.
It can happen.
All right. Applause for the turquoise city. And city number 12, the dark city. Curious what happened here.
Was the first
Hopefully a
one
positive
surviving,
story.
yeah.
Hello. We are the migrants from the Black City. There is almost 100,000 of us, and we were very happy with the designs or the ideas from the design and media offices, who suggested ideas like designing with us or blocks by us refugees and the speakers corner, which somehow connected us with the current citizens, and that's those ideas that we felt that they are really good. And that's so positive.
Yes. In spite of the fact that we are very positive and very happy immigrants, we weren't very much charmed with innovative and rich and clean idea or vision of the city. We would very much prefer just the city, lively city than clean even. We were missing work opportunities or working opportunities. We were a little bit worried of separation and too much immigrants in one place.
Anything you really want to add, not miss from your city?
It could be seen as a detail, but we would feel very much more free if we had bikes, for example, and we could move through the city.
Yeah, the transport coming second time, eh? Yeah.
All right, great. Applause for the Dark City. Yeah, take that. All right, so we've had 12 cities, very different scenarios, lots of different topics. Maybe we can wrap up a little bit this complex chaos.
Yeah, so the idea was not to kind of select the winning city, but just hear the stories. And actually what is interesting so far is there are some patterns you can follow in many cities. Migrants being happy or unhappy. So isolation or like the fear of isolation or being able to be integrated in the neighborhood is one topic that comes quite often. And transport, so people can move around and find their way through the city is another one that I can see. Is there any other pattern you can follow?
Well, I think there was a lot of happiness, which I think is a nice positive. I thought it was overall quite positive. I'm kind of curious if people thought it was also realistic. Maybe someone can say something, one quick comment. Is this a realistic scenario compared to maybe the city where you come from? Does anyone want to comment on that? One quick word?
No.
One quick word.
And you explained the happiest story ever. But there were cities that were unhappy immigrants that kind of explained why. Or I have heard some, like the Violet city being the most violent city, somehow. So why do you think that happened? Because we hear very, very happy stories from different cities, and somehow in your city it was a bit more realistic.
Yeah, I think the main reason was there was a lack of communication, and also the migrants were placed in already poor areas with social problems, so it just enhanced the problems of the place. Well, and the role of citizens and NGOs, and they help us not very much the city.
So there came the conflict from.
Yeah, there was a bottom-up process.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Interesting. Yeah. Anything you want to comment? I think the stress on speakers' corner, like strange enough, this very little intervention where actually there's a chance for locals and newcomers to communicate. I think that's very interesting to hear that it's coming from different tables, that people would like to actually have the chance, the confrontation of the local and the newcomer. That's another trend that I could follow that I think can be actually implemented in real cities. Oh. Anything that you have seen or you would like to comment from your own city in terms of realism or fiction of the game? You had a really happy story as well, eh?
Yeah, we were completely happy, which I think is doesn't correspond to the reality. They actually put us in prime spots, and our citizens were so generous in relocating money to us. So happy scenario for us. At the same time, they did put us in the social housing, which we did have some conflicts with the citizens of slums. But then again, we did get a lot of some money to actually be able to do that. Funny thing was at the end was the migrants saying, "Oh, we do have this empty plot, so let's just redevelop it and maybe get some money from that." So it's kind of very unrealistic.
This proactive migrant community who would like to just jump into the development business.
Yeah, so very unrealistic, but fun.
Okay.
Cool. And how does it compare to the city where you're from? Where do you live?
Well, I live in Warsaw.
Okay.
No, we don't. No? We will not. No, we don't have that in Warsaw.
And one thing I was following that there, you were very optimistic with the numbers that is allowed into cities. We know when people hear 1,000, the number of 1,000, it's already a big demonstration in the streets. And we were hearing 100,000, 35,000. Do you think where does it come from, or is it your intention to really see those numbers in your cities, or is it just a game because of that you can do it?
I think it's something you would love to see, you know, the diversity, or people actually wanting them to come, or not wanting, let's say. It's always nice to welcome new people, new diversity. So of course we're influenced by all that we're hearing to hear in these 2 days. So I think everyone's very welcoming. Not always happens, so definitely it's an influence of what we've been hearing today.
Can the city react with 100,000 immigrants? Who had the 100,000?
65.
The dark city had 100,000.
What was the question?
100,000. Was everybody happy or finding it realistic in the team?
I think it was too much for the city, that they put us in, like, separated us to the social housing and the other type of housing. And I don't think it's ideal for the city to have so much immigrants, like, in one place. So.
Okay, and when your policymakers told 100,000 people come in, did anyone react in the city, or was it everybody was happy?
I think that everybody was happy, so they had no problem with that.
Okay, European cities.
Generous.
You can do more. Yeah, I think this is where we end. Thank you very much for being so nice players and being with us from the very beginning till the end. Thanks a lot for reporting.
Big applause to all of the 12 cities. Thank you. So, thanks.